guys, it's Kate here, and it's literally been about 2 years since I sat down and filmed a video and just talked to you guys. So I went on Instagram and I asked you guys what you wanted to see, and you said you wanted to see a video update of all of the horses. So here we go. Now I'll go through the horses one by one and sort of discuss what's happening with them at the moment, what my plans are for this year, and maybe some facts about them along the way. I have no idea. I literally have not planned this video whatsoever. Without further ado, here we go. I'll start in my head from like the bottom block of my stables and make my way around, just so it's easier for me to not miss any of them out. So this is in like the order of where they are stabled. So we'll start with Harry. Ah, Harry. So much to talk about with Harry. So for those of you who don't know, Harry, or Haricot Blue is her show name, is my 5-year-old mare out of Plot Blue, and she's lovely. Lovely. Really. Basically, one day she'll be fantastic and you think, wow, I'm sat on like an Olympic champion, and then the next day you could be sat on like a beach mule that's like, I don't even know. So last year we started quite well with her, and then we changed the lorry in like September and she wouldn't get on it ever again. We've stopped going to shows with her. We had to keep both lorries for ages, so we planned on selling our 7.5 tonner Betsy and getting a 12.5 tonner, which we have not named yet, or maybe we did and I've forgotten the name because it's not quite as cool as Betsy. So maybe you guys want to name my lorry. Comment down below what you want the lorry to be called. So yeah, Harry would not get on the new lorry to save her life. This cowboy called Mickey, who comes across from, well, he came across from Ireland, he lives in England now, and he was incredible. Literally got her walking up and down the lorry ramp like it was nothing. He would stand at the bottom and just have her on like a really loose rope and just go, you don't want to be down here, go up there. And like, she just walked up and stood at the top and waited for him to be like, come on down. With me, I literally got her in there, and then if I managed to get her in there, like, she'd be rearing and stuff on the ground, and then she'd get in there, spin, bolt out, and like drag you down the ramp and kill you. She pulled my dad down 3 times and then nearly trampled him. And we had so many problems with just like leading her around, because she used to be good, and anyone that has young horses will know one day they're great and one day they're crap. So I was leading her across to the lorry one day from her stable, because they go across like this path that we've made round the edge of the stables, and a goose attacked her and she ran away with her travel boots on. And she ran round a 5-acre paddock for about half an hour, just galloping around, sending all the other horses absolutely loopy, until we managed to catch her. And then she got away again and did the same thing again, and that was an absolute nightmare. We were supposed to be going to the vets to get her, I think Evie was just going in for a checkup and Harriet was going in for her teeth doing, and we got there. Bearing in mind, she looked gorgeous when I put her travel boots on. I literally got there and she was covered in mud and grot, and Evie looked really nice, and then Harriet was just... And riding-wise, she's been okay. She's been alright. She keeps improving, but it's like, it's to and from. Basically, we've worked her from British Novice. She's got all her British Novice double clears now, and she has 2 Discovery. Technically she's jumped all 4 of her Discovery double clears, but 2 of them she had time faults, so we still need 2 more double clears in Discovery, and we still need all her newcomers, but I'm not planning on doing newcomer second rounds with her this year anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But no, we had a problem with her on the right rein as well. She was so stiff and tight on the right rein, but that's improved a lot now as well. So my plans for her for this year vary. Some days I think, oh, I'd love to get her up to jumping like fox hunter level by the end of the year, and then other days I think, you know, maybe it would be a good aim to like get her in the ring. Bishop Burton the other week, I went and I thought, wow, she's gonna be great today, walked the course, looked great. Went to get her from the lorry, she wouldn't even come out of the car park. Literally, this is what she's like. Every day she changes. It's like she's never ever done that at Bishop Burton before. Like, she just walks to the collecting ring, then to the ring, then out of the ring, and she just goes wherever. But then I was literally just like pony club kicking in the car park with everybody laughing at me, and she would not budge, like not whatsoever. I had to be led into the arena twice, and I had to like shout at her and like pony club kick her at the gate to attempt to get her to move into the arena. Like, she was already in there and then she just wouldn't move again. They rang the bell as well, like to say that I could start, and I literally could not move her at all. Like, they rang the bell and I'm like sat there looking at the clock, just counting down and being like, and then she goes and jumps a double clear and then gets time faults because I didn't start within the allowed time. So all fun and games at the moment, but hopefully she will improve. We just gotta keep trundling on, I guess. She was good at Morris last week. It was a big ask for her to jump in at 110 straight away. But she managed it, she coped, and on the last day, she got a double clear at 110, so I'm quite pleased with that. So next one. So next we'll go on to Madge, because she's next to Harry in the stables. Just makes it easier for me to work this in my brain. So I have so many questions about Madge. Like, every day people say, have you still got Madge? Have you sold her? What's happening with Madge? Are you still riding her? I'm not still riding her, but I do still own her. She had a stifle injury at the back end of 2016. About the same time Evie had her SI injury and Nero had a suspensory injury. So that was a really bad week for me because literally all they were my 3 rides at the time and they all just went like lame with different things. In 2016, I'd got Madge at the beginning of that year, and then I worked her through until about May, June sort of time, and then I thought, you know what, she hasn't qualified for anything in the summer, and I thought she might need reschooling because she always had this problem with her head, throwing her head up in the air all the time, and I thought maybe it's best I just give her a little break and then strip it back to basics and reschool her and work our way up from there. So that was the plan, so I thought I'll focus on Nero and Evie through the summer and I'll turn Madge away and bring her back in like October, November sort of time. I got her back in October, sort of mid-October, about the same week when we discovered Evie wasn't right. And we realised Madge wasn't right either. I was just walking her around or like taking her for a little hack or a ride in the arena or something, I can't remember, but I just thought, are you kidding me? Thinking she wasn't right either. So we did some tests with her to start with, and the vets thought it was her suspensories as well, so we did the electroshock treatment thing, stuff like that, but it didn't really help her much. So we just turned her away for a little while, thought maybe it's something that will improve on its own a little bit, that's what the vet suggested. And then when we re-investigated it, it turned out to be a stifle problem, and we medicated into her stifle and there was no significant improvement. There was for a few days and then it just relapsed again. So we decided to just give her some time off, just let her chill. So she's been off for like a year now, and now we're taking her back in very soon actually to have it re-scanned and re-looked at to see if there's been any change. We still don't really know exactly what has gone on in her stifle, we just know it's her stifle, so that's all I really know. I don't know much about it, so she's just out in the field at the moment, enjoying herself. She runs around like lightning. She's not like visibly really lame. In fact, she looks sound. It's more lame under the saddle than it is lame in the field. So she's quite happy, she's not in any pain, you know, she's just getting on with it really. So I will keep you updated on what's happening there, but I don't have much else to say about it because I really don't know what's going on there myself. But yeah, we will move on to the next horse. So next, sticking on the line with the girls, is Evie. So I'm absolutely thrilled with how far that horse has come. It's incredible. In 2016 we qualified for Horse of the Year show with her in the Silver League, and she went lame about 3 or 4 days beforehand, which was absolutely devastating for me. And then obviously when Nero and Madge went lame as well, I broke down. You know, it's been really, really difficult. And then even when I brought her back into work, it was just, I had no idea, none whatsoever. And I think that was in my last video, when I made my answers video, I talked about how I didn't know what was going to happen with Evie, and that was terrifying. You know, everyone was asking for me to make this video, like, explaining what was going to happen with Evie and stuff, and I really had no idea. And it was so scary, and I'd hack her every day because you have to keep them moving with these SI problems, and it was awful because some days you'd ride her and you'd think, oh my goodness, she's finally getting a little bit better. You know, she'd feel more free moving and things, and I thought, wow, she's getting better again. And then like the next day she'd just be really stiff and sore, and like you need to make them power walk when they have SI injuries, so like pushing her on to do something that is potentially putting her in pain was awful. That whole period, that whole time was just horrendous. It was really difficult and we really didn't know whether we were going to get anywhere. We were medicating her with, I think, cortisone at the time. 2 cortisone injections, 1 to start with, and then we worked her for 12 weeks and no change really. She got better quite a lot to start with and then just relapsed again. So we tried it again and the same thing happened. We were just about given up really with her, and we saw a different vet who medicated her with iodine, which basically fuses the ligaments together to make a more bony substance, which sounds horrendous, but it's not as bad as it sounds. She had that done once, and since she's been amazing. Like, and we had a chiropractor come out to her and see her, and she has constant physio like every 2 or 3 weeks to make sure she's feeling nice and supple and relaxed. Just come on so much. I started jumping her again last summer, so I brought her in quite late and I just started her at like meter 105, and it was just amazing to have her back jumping again. It was fantastic. So this month with her we have 3 shows. We have Welsh Masters, then Fieldhouse, and then Chepstow International, so I get to jump my first international on her at the end of this month. And I'm so excited for all 3, like I don't know which one is going to be more fun. Fieldhouse is her first Hoys qualifier of the year, which I'm so excited for because I only got to do 1 last year because she came back so late, and like it was the final qualifier and she had a couple down, I think it was at Nationals. And she jumped really well there as well. And it just kind of sucked because I thought, oh, if only I had some more time, there'd have been some more qualifiers, then maybe we'd have stood a chance. But this year, I don't know, I have a really good feeling about this year. And I don't know whether that good feeling is like we're gonna qualify or whether we're just gonna have a great time, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. Like, we're gonna try our best, we're gonna have some fun, and you know, I always, in my head, I think qualifying for Hoys would be like the perfect thing to happen with Evie, because you know, like she qualified before and she didn't get to go, and she deserves, out of every horse that I have and every horse that I've ever seen, she is like the most deserving horse ever. She wants it. When you're in the ring, she wants it as much as you do. Definitely. Every time. She gives 100%. She never stops, she never falters. She's a winner. She's a born winner, and she's had this injury, and she doesn't deserve to have this injury. Like, she doesn't deserve that. So I really hope and pray that, you know, she will get there one day. In my head, her getting there would be like victory over this injury that she's had. So I really hope that she gets there because she deserves it, and I hope that I'm the one to take her there. Plans with her for this year are the Hoys qualifiers. I'm going to do as many talent seeker classes on her as I can. And I want to get her out internationals and just have some fun with her. I want to have a good year with her because it sounds a bit cheesy, but I feel like we deserve it. So moving on, next door to Evie is Nero. Those of you who don't follow me on Instagram or haven't seen yet, I have made the decision now to retire Nero. Oh god. Oh, don't cry on camera. Yeah, I've made the decision to retire Nero now, and it was and it wasn't an easy decision because, you know, it wasn't in the regard that I never want to see him retire. I always just, you know, I'm used to him being there and going out and jumping him and having him at all of the stay away shows and things and just having a great time with him. And it's sad that he's not going to be there now. I still have a great team with Evie and Harry. Well, Evie. No, it won't quite be the same, and I'll miss him everywhere I go, but I know that it's the best decision, and it was an easy decision in the regard that Nero has literally nothing left to prove at all. He has nothing to prove to me or anyone. He's done it all, and he's shown so many people that it doesn't matter where you start from, and you can start from anywhere and you can get to where he has, and I think that's such an incredible achievement. So yeah, we had lots of tears making that decision, but I know it's the right one. I know it is. It just sucks. Basically, Nero had an injury last October where we were at Bishop Burton, and that was literally the worst day of my life. Like, that morning I went down on the yard and he was laid down. I went in and sat with him and cuddled with him for ages, and it was just like a normal morning. I went to Bishop Burton. I had him entered in the 105 and 110, which are like his prime classes. I didn't know that when I trotted in for the 105 that would be the last time I ever jumped him, which was awful. Went in and he was clear, and we came to the last and he jumped the last clear, and he wasn't like ridiculously fast. I think he finished 4th in the end. He landed, he started bucking after the last, which he always does, and about 3 strides out from the last fence I just heard a snap, this horrible crack. He bolted, and I thought, oh my god, this is weird. You know, at the time it didn't really hit me that he hurt himself. Like, I just thought the crack, it could have come from the gallery or something, and he's not necessarily spooky. I thought, this is weird that he's bolted. It's really odd. I turned him, and we like turned back towards like where the gate is. That's where I managed to pull him up, and as soon as I pulled him up, I just felt it straight away. As soon as he broke into trot, he just, like, he was dropping. He was severely lame. And I just jumped straight off and led him out of there, and he was, every time his leg hit the ground, he like shot forward. He was in so much shock and pain, and oh, it was awful. I just started crying straight away and saying to my dad, like, you know, he needs the vets now. So we put him back in his stable at Bishop, and I stood with him and tried to keep him calm, and he was like shooting around in the stable, running into walls and things, and it was the worst thing ever. And I just remember saying to my dad, like, you know, don't let them put him down, don't let them take him. I honestly thought he'd broken something. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Friends were coming in and like hugging me and telling me how sorry they were and stuff, and it just seemed like the end. The staff from Bishop Burton were coming in with like cold pads and things. They were great. They were really trying to help. And they were coming in with cold pads and ice packs and things to put on, but we didn't even know where to put them on. There was no heat, there was no swelling, there was no obvious place where he had injured himself. Rainbow, our equine vet, showed up not so long later. I obviously pulled Ziggy and Evie out of all the rest of their classes for the day. They were there as well, because I could not face going back in the arena after that. The vets came, they x-rayed him on site, and nothing came up in the x-rays at all, which he said doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a fracture there, a hairline fracture, because they can come up a few days later. But there was no heat or swelling, but he bandaged his leg up right from bottom to all the way to the top, and we tried to get him back on the lorry like that. He gave him some painkillers as well, and we managed to get him on, which was horrendous because he was like falling off the side of the ramp and things. He couldn't walk straight up the ramp, and like the entire way home he was like couldn't balance himself on the lorry, and that's awful as well because he's literally like the best traveller we have, and he loads himself, and he's always so happy. And I called my mum and told her to put loads of shavings in his stable, pad the entire thing out so that he's really comfortable when he gets home. So we decided to let him have a couple of days, obviously complete box rest, see how he got on, and the vet said, you know, there's nothing we can do at the moment anyway, so there's no heat, there's no swelling. And then I came down the next morning, and he was the same, no heat, no swelling. I checked everywhere. And then the morning after that I came down, and his left hock was enormous. First it was kind of a sense of relief because at least we'd found the site of where the injury was. Obviously then I told Dad we have to get him straight through to Rainbow now, so that they can investigate this if he has any chance of coming right again. So we took him in, and they took him off us and went down and sedated him, and they scanned and ultrasound and x-rayed his leg all again. And then they called us through and said that he had 2 damages to his tendons in his hocks, and that one of them was minor and quite common, but it's most common in racehorses, and he had slipped his deep digital flexor tendon off the top of his hock. So if that was the back of his hock here, there's a tendon that runs, well, there's quite a few tendons, but his deep digital flexor tendon runs straight over the top, and it had slipped off to the side and was now running down the side. So it had a slight tear at the top, but it was running straight down now. And they said that's actually quite common, mostly in racehorses, but they're not worried about that so much. But they were worried about another tendon I can't remember what it was called, osteo something tendon, which was slightly damaged. Not horrendously, but slightly. But it was a much more difficult tendon to heal. So they were hoping, they said, that his deep digital flexor tendon would tear off completely and sit on the side. They said that's the best scenario, because then the hock will just get bigger and then the swelling will reduce and he'll be fine. But because that I can't even talk. That deep digital flexor tendon was laying down the side of the hock and hadn't slipped off completely, it was causing a mechanical lameness. So he wasn't actually in a horrendous amount of pain, just because of where that tendon was, it was causing the weird action through his leg. So they said to just turn him away. They said the best case scenario, it's going to be 6 months before he's ridden again. Which it didn't matter to me at all, I just wanted him to be okay, you know, and safe. So I left it a few days as well to sort of process everything before I put a post on or anything about it and let you guys know. It'd already been a few days. They were suggesting that we maybe do this operation, but they want to do some more research into it first. And the operation would basically be to go in and cut the tendon off so that it laid down the side where it should now lay, because they said that's the best chance of him coming right again. But when they did the research into it, there was a research that was conducted about a year ago, where they took, I think it was 16 horses with this injury, and they split them and they treated 8 by just leaving them, and they treated the other 8 by operating. And out of the 8 they operated on, 2 of them died from things caused from the operation. So one of them was the anaesthetic and the other was infection. Of the remaining 6, I think 4 of them came back to full work and the other 2 were field plots. So out of the other 8, I think 4 of them were field plods and the other 6 came back into... No. And the other 4 came back into work. So it was evenly split for them, but there wasn't the risk of death with the, you know, with the second option by just leaving him. So we said, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to leave him and let him come right on his own if he does. He'd said he can retire happily and probably hack and go on the beach and stuff if we, you know, just do that. But if we jump him and he did something else, I couldn't ever forgive myself. It'd all be like my fault and I couldn't live with that. After everything he has done, he deserves a retirement, a really nice retirement. And I think everyone will agree with me on that. As sad as it is seeing him not out with the others, you know, out at shows with the others even, and jumping and stuff, it's the right thing to do, and I know that. For those of you who are interested, we will be having a retirement ceremony, retirement evening for Nero. I don't know exactly when that will be yet or where it will be, but it will be roughly around like the beginning of summer. And we're making the entire evening a charity event, so there'll be a small entrance fee, probably of about £5, and that will all go straight to charities that help ponies like Nero was when he first started his career. For those of you who don't know, Nero was a gypsy cob tethered at the side of the road before he was rescued by his first owner. And he's just come on, you know, to jumping the pony show jumper at Hoy's, which is unreal. So all the money, all the donations and things will be going straight to charities that help ponies like Nero was when he first started in his career, which I think is lovely. And hopefully, I'm hoping that we will have all 4 of his owners there. Zoe, Sophie, Natalie and myself will all be there hopefully. And yeah, there'll be lots of opportunities for all of you to actually come and have your pictures taken with Nero and say goodbye to Nero. It will be his last public appearance. We're doing lots of little things to make it a really special evening. I had a lot of questions to start with saying, why are you having a retirement ceremony for Nero? He's not Valegro and things like that. And I know he's not Valegro, he's Nero, he's the Dark Emperor, and I think, you know, he's done so well in his career. I know he hasn't done as well as some ponies have, but I don't know many ponies that got to his level that started as a gypsy cob. I think after all he's done for everyone over the years, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I know that I was a massive Nero fan before I had Nero, and I pretty much stalked him every day on YouTube, and I met him in person in Bishop for the first time in 2014, and he inspired me to do what I do every day, and he continues to do that now. Whenever I'm feeling down and things, I can just look at the videos of him, and not even just videos of me on him, like videos of Now on him or Sophie or Zoe, and just think, wow, you know, look at what he's done. And he inspires me every single day to do what I do. I can't speak for everyone, but I know some people have said that they think the same thing about him, and that is that he's inspired them too. And I think that after all that Nero's given to us over the years, it would be lovely to just give him one night and sort of celebrate his career and raise some money for charity as well, which I think would be a really lovely idea for him. And Nero absolutely loves to meet you guys. He really does. I'm not even kidding. Like, at all the shows and things that we've been to over the years, when people have come across and asked if they can have their pictures taken with him, he will not let me have my picture taken with him. It's terrible. Like, if I'm at a show and I'm like, oh Dad, can you get a picture of me and you? And he's like, no, I don't want a picture. And then, like, a couple of little fans will come across, like, of his fans will come over and be like, oh, can we have a picture with Nero? And I'm like, of course you can. And he just, like, immediately is just like, and he will stand there for as long as I want and just have his picture taken with them. So he adores you guys. And at my demo, he was at my demo as well, and he just stood there at the end. All the guests from my demo came down and had their pictures taken with him, and he just, like, remained in the same pose the whole time, like, bless him. And he loves all of you so much, he really does. And he loves being in the ring and things, and he loves the atmosphere, and I'd love for him to experience that one more time. I don't want that leading him out of the ring horrifically lame to be the last time he leaves the ring. He deserves to walk back in there strong and, you know, and have the retirement that he deserves. So I hope that you guys, hope that as many of you will join that ceremony as possible. When I do have all the details, etc., I'll be putting them on my Instagram and probably on my YouTube as well. But comment down below if you think it's a good idea and if you would attend. Moving on from Nero, that's probably going to be a ridiculously long section about Nero. We'll go on to Cass. Cass isn't actually here with me anymore. He is in Coventry with Natalie McQuiggan, who is Nero's old owner. And I brought him back. Oh, this is an even longer story. So we sold Cass last year, and as most of you will remember, when I sold Ziggy and got him back, the same thing happened with Cass. So we sold him, and he, like, I'm not going to go into it, but it didn't work out and it ended in a bit of a disaster. But we did manage to get him back, which, you know, as a lot of you all know, our horses are like family. They're literally family. So, you know, we couldn't let him stay with people who we didn't want him to stay with. So yeah, we couldn't let him stay there with people we didn't want him to be with, because he's a part of the family like all of our horses. So we did end up getting him back, and I'll just say he wasn't in the same condition as he was when we let him go. So it took me a couple of months to get him back into, like, full fitness and full strength, let's say. And then after that, the reason I'd sold him in the first place was because he was too big for me, really, and I was struggling to sort of ride him on the flat, and at home jumping he was great, and then at shows when he got a little bit more novice-y, he was just too big for me, and he didn't really respond as well to me as I thought he would for someone bigger. And so in the end we decided that we'd either sell him or let him go to someone, and my first choice would have always been Nat. So I messaged her to see if she would be interested in riding him for me. And they came up and tried him a couple of weeks later, and she really liked him. So, and even then he wasn't looking in the best condition and everything, and we were sort of really honest and said he's not how he should be, but, you know, hopefully when you've worked with him a little bit, you'll get him going again. And she really has. She's done a great job with him. And if you guys want to see him, then go to her Instagram, Natalie McQuiggan. I'll put a link to her down below. And she's got him looking great, and he's jumping double clears at sort of 1.5, 1.10 at the moment. But they're getting better and better together, and they're really developing as a partnership, and I'm so proud of them both. And I get to see him in a couple of weeks at Masters, so I'm really excited, and I'll take lots of pictures while I'm there. Moving on to Ziggy now. Ziggy has been going okay. The back end of last year we started competing him all the time again, and he was doing really, really well. He won like every 90 centimetres he went in, and a few discoveries as well. And then in January I took him for a hack, and we were on one of the, like, we were on in this field, and we went for an unintentional gallop, let's say. He was fine, he didn't trip or stumble or anything. But the next day he was like slightly lame on one of his front feet, and he's never ever been lame or sore or injured at all in his entire life. So that was a bit of a shock. But we took him into Rainbow, and they think he's just sprained a ligament on the side of his in his foot. So he's had a couple of months off now. He did one show at the beginning of the year, and he's had a couple of months off just to let that rest a bit. So he's going back in this week to see if he can have the all clear to do a little bit more and start working again, but that's sort of where we're at with him. I'm hoping that he'll come back into work pretty soon. Hopefully in time to jump a few 90s and things in the summer and just have some fun, but Ziggy's in kind of like the semi-retirement stage now, I would say, because I mean he's 17, so he's not doing as much now. He's mostly just hacking when he is in work and things, and then going out and jumping a few 90 centimetres here and there. So yeah, he's just having some fun, and he enjoys jumping at home as well, so I'll probably jump him at home a little bit. That's all I really have to say about Ziggy. My camera memory keeps going full and I have to keep deleting things, so I'm trying not to let this drag on too long because I talked about Nero for about half an hour. But no, that's pretty much where we're at with Ziggy, and I want to just get him out and let him have some fun. But no, he's fine otherwise, and it's not a bad injury, so that's why I didn't sort of mention it, because it was kind of just a minor injury. I didn't really know how long he'd be out of work for, so I thought I'll just let it play out and see how it goes. Moving on to Bob, who I haven't spoked? I can't speak. Moving on to Bob, who I haven't spoke about in ages. He's doing really well. He's been retired for nearly 4 years now. I get loads of questions all the time asking if I'm riding him still. I'm not riding him. I could maybe get away with hacking him every now and again. But he's not in pain with his leg, but he's really, I think it's in his mind a lot now, his injury, so when surfaces change, he gets a little bit funny about it. Like the other day I was walking him and we went to walk through like this puddle, and he was on the same surface, just on grass, and he was walking, and then as soon as he got into the puddle, and the ground was like hard underneath, he walked normal fine for a little bit of the puddle, and then he realised he was in water, and he sort of like lifted his leg up again like, oh my god, oh, I'm in water. I think he feels like restricted. He has always been like that. He's a wimp, and he's happy. And when you see him trotting and cantering around in the field, he's not like sound, but he's pretty good. But he's happy, so happy, and he's not on any pain medication or anything. He's absolutely fine. So he's just chilling now. He's in the field. He was out with Evie all winter in the field, and now he's out on his own for a little bit because the fields they haven't been rolled yet, so that some of them are like 1 or 2 are slightly chewy in places because it's still not quite hard enough for us to roll them yet. So they're all sort of out on their own because the likes of Bob and Dreamer will just walk around all day and sort of they don't run or do much. They're quite sensible, so they're in sort of the slightly worse off fields, let's say. And the others, like Harriet, who goes psycho in the field, are in the slightly better ones, making them worse. We're hoping, if the weather stays like this, we're hoping that we will be rolling the paddocks next week, so then they can start going out together, and then sort of goes into summer, so he'll be out with probably Ziggy in the summer, because Nero is back out now, so he's out with Evie, and then Dreamer and Madge go out together. Harriet goes out on her own because she can't be trusted with anything or anyone, and so Bob, I'd imagine, will probably end up going out with Ziggy. Maybe Harry every now and again, but we know what she's like, so probably not. And then moving on to Dreamer. Dreamer is like in on and off work. He's not for any reason, I just don't have an awful lot of time, and he's one of them horses that like, he's always really good. You could leave him for like a year and get on and he'd be exactly the same. So I just have fun with him. I'm hoping to I'm gonna clip him out shortly and get him going again. Just let him have some fun, let him hack, and let him have a good time. I've had Dreamer 7 years now, which is insane. But I know I don't talk about him a lot, but I love him. He's awesome. He's like the most trustworthy horse ever. Like on my Instagram, if you go back a bit, you'll see a video of me like cantering him standing up, and he just doesn't even care. He just canters around. He's just amazing. He's like the best first horse I could have ever wished for. But unfortunately he hates jumping, so we don't jump him very often at all. But no, he is awesome, and he's doing well. He's a bit tubby at the moment after winter, but hopefully we'll slim him down a bit when he starts doing some proper work again. And finally we have the Shetlands, Timmy and Tiffin. So Timmy and Tiffin are legends in themselves, let's face it. Timmy is a Falabella and Tiffin is a miniature Shetland. You can see them on my Instagram, and I will post a picture of them now. This is where we see if I failed or not. I'm so bad with technology, it's actually scary. So if I succeeded, round of applause, and there should be a picture right there. If I didn't, this is embarrassing, but oh well, life goes on. So yeah, that is it guys. This has been my sum up of all of the horses and how they're doing and how they're getting on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like and a comment and subscribe. I'm hoping to make more of these sit down videos soon and start vlogging again. I lost my vlogging camera guys, that's what happened there. I'm going to try and vlog. I'm going to attempt to vlog next on my GoPro, hoping that that might work a bit better. I don't know, have any of you guys ever vlogged with a GoPro? Are they any good? Like, the audio concerns me, and the fact that it like morphs your face. Finally, in other news guys, if you haven't noticed, the entire video I've been wearing my new Blob the Cob merch. I cannot believe that this is happening. I cannot believe that I have like merch now. So if you want to get my merch, or if you want to see what we have, then head over to the Instagram account and the Etsy shop, which I will link below under Blob the Cob shop. We've had some great reviews so far of the t-shirts. I absolutely love them. They're so comfortable, and they're seamless down the sides, so there's nothing rubbing your sides when you're moving, and they're just really comfy. They wash really well as well. I haven't washed mine yet though. I've only worn it like 3 times because I'm too scared because it's white and I don't want to get it mucky. But I absolutely love it, and I hope you guys will love it too, and I hope you guys will check out the new product we have. Bye for now. Comment what else you might like me to do on this channel sit down video wise. I think the next thing people wanted me to do was react to show jumping fails of mine. So that might be the next video, but who knows? Comment something else if you'd be interested in seeing something else. So comment that down below. But for now, thank you guys, and I will see you soon with another video. Maybe one day. Okay, bye!